A bit of a late start today because I needed to rest a little bit from all the 6 a.m.s I had been doing. There wasn't a particular need to get into uni super early today, so I went to the gym, I went to Q Motion. One nice thing to mention about Q Motion is that I was doing weighted pull-ups, but specifically I was doing them with a 10 kg plate 12 times, which is pretty good. Like, I've been able to do weighted pull-ups with 10 kg, but it's been like 8 times or 10 times. It's never been like 12, you know. And 12 is like it's like a complete standard set, so it feels like you're actually doing like 10 weighted kg, you know, pull-ups kind of thing, you know, as opposed to like just being able to do 6. Like it doesn't feel like, you don't feel worthy of saying, oh, I can do weighted pull-ups, if that kind of makes sense. After that, I headed into Ground Cafe. Obviously Ground Cafe is going to be a bit more busier now because it's like more midday as opposed to morning. After that, I headed out. I went on a bit of a walk. I had to eat a banana because I felt like I needed the potassium. Don't ask me why. Nothing weird going on here, just a guy talking to his phone. Anyway, after Ground Cafe, I kind of had to strategize because like I was short on time now. I'm going boxing today, which meant that I would have to leave soon. So instead of doing 2 study sessions or even 3, I was like, okay, let's just try and do 1 study session. Sometimes it helps you as well to just kind of like, instead of like trying to fit so much into a small space of time, just to like say, okay, fine, let's just do 1 and let's try and do 1. It makes you feel more comfortable, and it sits more easier with you. So I went into the library and I done a single study session. I can't remember what I was studying on. I think space, time and gravity, most likely. Study session in the library. I saw Vidushan in the library, which was kind of nice. Boxing's on a Wednesday and I'm going today. So I headed to the train station to take the district line eastbound to the boxing gym, whereby we're going to have our boxing session today. They have had sessions before, but they were tasters, so this was kind of like the first proper like session of the year, if that makes sense. But there, anyway, it was really nice to do boxing. I had been itching to kind of like do boxing, and even when I got there, like, you know, there was like some of the like new guys just kind of like standing around and kind of not knowing what to do, and then it was like me and Kushwin, and then because like, you know, we've been going there for like the previous years, we feel more comfortable. But anyway, when I got in there, like as we was waiting, like I just started skipping and I started shadow boxing as well, and it just felt really nice. It felt nice to kind of just like move around and jump around, you know. Like sometimes I'm like all the time, obviously I'm in library and, you know, I'm in Ground Cafe and I'm always kind of like sitting down, and on the train as well I'm sitting down, and even like at gym as well, like, you know, I'll be doing gym, but it's still ultimately like just standing still and like doing it. It feels nice to kind of like just like get moving, get jumping, get sprinting. Like it was really nice. Anyway, whenever we have boxing, we always kind of do like some like road work. Okay, so when we have boxing, what we normally do is we normally go for like some road work, and we normally go out on a run kind of like before our session. It's meant to be like a warm-up, but sometimes it feels like a whole workout. Yeah, it was really nice because we always go to this place. It's like it's just this like stair that overlooks a park, but it's so beautiful because you can see like you can see like Canary Wharf in like the distance, and like it's kind of like on a hill that overlooks the kind of like parks, and there's like a rugby field, and it's super nice because on this occasion the sun was pretty low, but there's like some other occasions where like it's sunset, you know, like as we get more into winter and things like that, and it just felt really nice to go there, as I said, go there, run around, and just kind of be out there in like the open green space and be there in the field. And yeah, and just getting the sunlight as well, like it felt super good. Yeah, it felt amazing. Some people aren't too keen on like the running bit before we go boxing, but I actually really like it. I really like getting the sunlight. I really like the field, the staircase. It's pretty awesome. And also it's kind of cool because I've been watching Ippo. I've been watching this anime on boxing, and like in Ippo they're always like doing road work. They call it road work in the thing, and they're always like going out and running. So, you know, it's cool. It's like you feel like a boxer. I don't know if that kind of makes sense. Anyway, yeah, and then we came back and obviously we done our stuff, and yeah, it was really fun. I was so happy to get back to boxing. Just like that, the high intensity cardio and the movement, it just felt so great. Anyway, there was this funny incident where I was speaking to this guy who goes boxing there, And basically we was talking about like all the beginners there, and then basically the conversation ended up with him looking at me and basically saying, yeah, but bro, you're not a beginner. So he's basically being nice, and he's calling me a good boxer. And it was strange because, guys, I think if you go into Bancroft, you can get in there through the back. Yeah. I was trying to use the microwave. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No worries. The conversation basically got to him saying, yeah, but bro, you're not a beginner. Basically, he's calling me like a decent level boxer, which was kind of nice coming from him, because he's a really nice guy, but he's also like really like big, and like really like he's very strong, and he's a very skilled boxer himself. And like obviously just like coming from him, like it felt nice, and it almost felt like I almost didn't believe it, if that kind of makes sense. And I wanted to reflect upon that singular point, and I was just thinking about it, and I was thinking about some other things as well. And you know, sometimes when I record these vlogs, there's a lag time between when I actually record them and when I actually produce them, and I kind of think a lot of things in the meantime. And you know, it got me thinking, you know, like, I'm a good boxer, but I don't think I am. I'm an academic weapon, but I think me getting to my final year at uni has just been like nothing but a fluke. You know, I'm a good person, but I don't feel like it. I'm a kind person, but I don't feel like it. I'm a friendly person, but I feel like whenever I'm around people, sometimes like I'm forcing myself to be there. You know, I'm a very mature person. I take on a lot of responsibility, but whenever I'm around people, I always feel like I'm their younger brother. You know, I always feel like that. I know things, but I don't feel them, and I don't believe them. And yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. The other day, I was just overhearing this conversation the other day, and this doesn't come from a place of arrogance. This kind of comes from a place of me kind of like having to stand up for myself a little bit, and kind of just have like a better self-image. So it doesn't come from arrogance. But I was overhearing this conversation the other day. You know, I won't tell you what the conversation was, but I was just like these guys are like, and I don't mean this in like a condescending way, but I was like, these guys are like, this conversation is kind of immature, you know. And like, sometimes I'll be worried about what other people think about me, you know, with like the YouTube, but just like in general, like I'll be always constantly worrying about like what other people think of me, when in fact that like a lot of these people who I actually care about what they think about me, they're actually like, what I'm trying to say is they're a lot less mature than me. You know, they're probably a lot less kinder than me. They're probably a lot less giving than me. They're probably, and I'm not trying to say that. I'm not trying to say that as a means for me to look down upon them. I'm saying that as a means to like question myself. Like, why are you even spending energy worrying about what they're thinking? But also as well, you have the qualifications to be their like older brother. You have the qualifications to like, for them to look up to you, if that kind of makes sense. Maybe that sounds weird. And yeah, just like I just need to think better on myself. Like, you know, even in like, you know, I'm staying with my auntie at the moment, and sometimes like my auntie's like, oh, have you called your mom? You know, like she's just asking, oh, have you called your mom? Why don't you go with your mom, like on the weekends, for instance? Like, why don't you go out with your mom, for instance? And like, I know she's just asking, but every time she says that, I always feel that like I'm being a bad son, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm one of those guys who don't who neglects their like family, who like doesn't pay attention to them, who's more interested in other things. And I know that isn't true, but I feel like it, and it's everything. The reason why I'm mentioning this is to kind of like build up a whole comprehensive picture of everything. You know, like in boxing, you know, like I'm a good boxer, but I don't feel like it. You know, in studying, whenever I'm studying, but it's like I always feel that like, you know, like when we're in lecture and then people start asking a question and I'm not able to follow along, I always, or like when they give out assignments, I always feel like people have like this hidden piece of knowledge that I don't have. Whenever people are doing the assignments, I'll always ask people thinking that they have some secret ability that I don't have. So yeah, I just wanted to reflect upon that point and just say like, I really need to like, I just really gotta like feel these things. You know, feeling is different from knowing. You know, I gotta feel it with here, not with here. So yeah, that was boxing. But boxing was really great. I really enjoyed it. I really needed it as well. I had to cheat on polity and not go to Model United Nations. Everything happens on a Wednesday. It's super weird. I don't know why. to go to boxing, but I did not regret it at all. I loved it. It was really nice to be back. There was some new faces, me and Kushwin obviously, but yeah, it was super nice. Anyway, I had to go back into uni. The reason why I wanted to go back into uni is because today I didn't eat anything for lunch because I had a stitch, because I would have a stitch if I went boxing afterwards. Which is fine. I wasn't really that hungry. I could have just gone home, but I had brought in some leftover food from home, and I didn't want it to be like leftovers and then like a leftover again, if that kind of makes sense. So it was in the fridge. It was in the physics museum fridge, and so I headed back into uni to warm it up. There's a funny story behind it. My auntie, she has this weird thing about not wasting food. Like, she just really doesn't want to waste food. It doesn't matter if it's like really gone off. Okay, not like, obviously if it's like moldy and stuff, like obviously she won't eat it, but like even if it's like a few weeks or off, like she'll make it a point to eat it. And the other night, like I was eating my dinner and like I couldn't finish it anymore because like I had eaten previously, and she was like, don't waste it, put it in a container, and if you don't want to eat it, your uncle will eat it. And obviously I wasn't gonna let my uncle eat the thing, so I just put it in a container. So it was like it was really funny. It was like this like cut up piece of fish and it was just fish. It was literally just this cut up piece of fish. I just went back into Queen Mary, went back into physics, and just warmed it up. But yeah, that was Wednesday. Thank you for sticking around and listening to my reflections. I will go now because, you know,